Hey everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a little bit of a deeper dive if you came from my prior video around the GitKraken CLI and troubleshooting an issue I ran into with the clone. So this may or may not apply to you. If you are running into an issue cloning, go ahead and watch this. There may be some useful stuff for you. This is also a little bit specific to the way my personal account was set up. So just want to preface it with that. Your mileage will vary, but hopefully some people find it useful. Let's dive in and take a look. So this is where we had left off before. We have a cloud workspace that we were attempting to clone. We went through and did the clone and came up with could not read from remote repository. Okay, so what exactly is going on here? Now, the GitKraken CLI, you would think is just going to execute a CLI command of git clone and then insert, the appropriate repository name. That's not quite what's happening. So if we take a look here, the actual command that's being invoked, I'll just move it to the top here real quick, looks like this. And I'm just going to point out git clone git at github.com repo owner /repo.git and then a folder path of where it's going to clone into. Now, if we try to run that manually, we'll come through and we'll start to see part of what's going on here. And you'll see that this is going to come down to some authentication of how this is set up. So this is fine. This is actually good security, and it doesn't really matter whether we say yes or no here. Sure. We're still going to end up with this permission denied. I will put some links in the docs down below, but GitHub actually has some pretty good docs on troubleshooting some of these issues because these are actually somewhat common for people who do CLI invocations with SSH to GitHub. So if that's you, you may have already fought with some of these issues. You may already be familiar with these docs pages in question. So one of the common ways to go through and do this is to just run the following SSH command. So SSH lowercase v capital T git at github.com. And this is going to give you some information about the authentication between your current client and GitHub. And the important part here is we end up with this permission denied. And ultimately, this is what is causing the GK to fail. But it's now a couple levels removed, so it's a little difficult to have all of this surface all of the way up. So we get this working, then GK starts working. Everyone's happy. So let's take a look at doing that. Now, you can go through and generate up an SSH key however you'd like. Again, docs in the description. My personal way of doing it is I install GitKraken because frankly, it's just easy and it's wonderful. So simple button here. So from the main GitKraken page, file preferences, and then down on the SSH tab. And then here we can go ahead and hit generate to go ahead and generate this key for us. And then you'll note we get both a public and a private key. That's important. To actually link this up to GitHub, we need to put this public key actually up in our account. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this to my clipboard, come over here, and then I'm going to head over to GitHub. And then underneath my account banner, if you scroll down underneath settings, I'll try to keep my big head out of the way. And then SSH and GPG keys on the left is where you're looking to go. And then new SSH key here. And then we will give it a title. We'll call it demo computer. And then we're just going to go ahead and paste in that key. Add SSH key. Perfect. Now we're going to come back to our terminal. Up arrow to rerun that same SSH command. And we immediately fail again. So the reason for this failure, man, I kind of want to start this over. Dang it. Now we're going to finish anyway. Okay, so the reason for this command is you can see the private keys that it's attempting are id.rsa, all of these other ones. But if we look in this path here that it has, the GitKraken key that it generated was GitKraken-RSA. Now, what we need to do is appropriately direct direct it to the file that we care about. So if we drop in a particular config file, and I will leave the contents of this in the description, open with, and then we can just do Notepad. That'll work. I got it. Thanks. You can see it specifies a host, a user, and then specifically says which identity file to go ahead and read from. So now if we rerun this command, you can see that I have successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. Great. I can't SSH into GitHub. What a shock. But it at least confirms that I've now got valid connection. So now if we run GK workspace clone, we can pick our workspace. We can go ahead and pick our repositories, destination directory. And we can see here that it is cloning away. And by the not immediate failure, it's now dumping everything out. Wonderful. If we take a look here inside of our MDIX folder, we can go ahead and see that we've got both of our repositories. We can go ahead and jump into here, and we can see that we've got all of the contents that we were expecting with both repos fully cloned, which is wonderful. So there's the solution. If you are running into issues with getting GK workspace clone to work, take a look at those. Depending on how you have this security set up on your GitHub account, this may prove useful to you as well. Okay, hope you found that useful. As always, happy coding. See everyone next time.